Guys, I've closed my online shop. Yeah, not for the reasons you may think, maybe. So let's have a chat and I want to tell you guys exactly how I've come to this decision and exactly what's going on. So let's go. If you haven't been here before, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So just to give you a little bit of background, my name is Victoria and I'm the owner of Daisy Creations. I've opened my shop back in 2020, so it's almost 4 years old now, and I've been doing it full time for almost that entire time. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about how I've come to the decision of having to close my online shop. This year has been hard. The economy is all messed up and all businesses are in trouble or are closing, and it's hitting us small businesses even harder. The kind of stuff that we sell is usually the first to be scrapped when people don't have money. So we all know that this is not the ideal situation. We know what's happening. So just to kind of go back a little bit, I started talking about this last year, my Instagram, and just kind of noticing a shift because obviously a lot of businesses started in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and so online sales were booming because that's all that we had. So it was actually a great time for my business. It was kind of the perfect time to start. I never really thought about the longevity of having an online store. I thought that once you have that, people will always know that you're there, and once you have the followers, you don't really have to worry about where your sales are going to come from. Obviously, I know that some collections might be more popular than others, but it's hard to kind of imagine a time where no products are selling. So this year started off pretty hard sales wise, and it's just been declining. It's winter here right now, so that is usually my slowest sales time as well. So it all has culminated in this really hard period in my business. And I've always had a really open mind about what my business is going to look like, how I'm going to actually make the sales. And I've always wanted to pivot when I needed to. I've always been open to that because I think as a business owner, you need to be open in that sense, because otherwise you will get stuck in one thing and you will never be able to adapt to things that come your way. So I've always been open to that kind of stuff, but this year has been insane in that way that I don't think anyone could have predicted. What I've personally experienced is just a downward fall. A downward fall? A downward scale? I don't know. What I've experienced is a downward trend of my online products not selling as much. So because I feel like I'm very adaptable, I've then decided to start doing more markets and more in-person events to make up for not having the sales. And since I started, I've been balancing both of those sides of my business, the in-person events and the online sales. And it's been fine because I've done maybe 2 or 3 max markets every month, and then the rest is about making collections and packing orders and just focusing more on the online and the social media side of it. So then maybe 6 months, if not more ago, I noticed that the bulk of my sales were coming from my markets and my in-person events, and I wasn't really getting any online sales. Like, I was getting them here and there, but in my mind I'm like, it's just a little slump, it'll get better. But as the months kept going and I would have maybe 1 or 2 orders a week, it kind of got me thinking what to do, because I had 2 problems when it came to my online store. One is obviously lack of sales. That's one thing. And obviously I have to pay to have my website open. So I wasn't even getting enough orders to warrant having to pay for that website. So I had to think really hard about whether it was worth it or not. And the second point was that because I was attending more markets than ever before, I'm talking like 8-9 markets in a month, it was starting to create a bit of a logistical problem because I don't have my products integrated on my website with my point of sale. So therefore, every time I went to a market, when I came back, I had to do a stock take. I had to update all the products on the website so that I had the correct amounts and I didn't oversell. And it was just creating a very big logistical problem because I was wasting a whole day just updating my website to then not have any sales or have very minimal sales. So for me, it wasn't adding up. And because also I didn't have my products integrated, I had to close my website every time I went to an event because I couldn't risk like selling the products twice, online and in person. So that meant that my website was closed for a lot longer than usual, plus that day that took me to do the stock take. And so it was kind of a cycle. So maybe I would have been getting more sales if I had the website live longer, but I couldn't because I was attending the in-person events. So my decision came down to those things: not having enough sales to warrant having a website, and not having enough sales to cover the website fee, and having the logistical problem of having to manually do stock take of every single one of my products after every single market. So that's pretty much how I've come to this decision. And when I shared that on my Instagram with all my followers over there, I kind of felt it was just like an announcement, right? Because I knew no one was really buying my stuff. So I didn't think it was going to be such a big thing, but a lot of people were commenting saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I hope you're okay." And I was kind of surprised because I wasn't feeling any sort of way about it. It was just a business decision that I had made. For me, it just made sense. It didn't change anything because it just meant I wasn't going to be getting a few extra orders, but that was that really. I was still making the bulk of my sales, the bulk of my income from the in-person events. So it was just interesting to see that kind of feedback and how people think about that kind of stuff, because a lot of people thought something was wrong and that I was closing forever. I was telling people, this might not be a forever decision. I might come back at some point, or I might come back seasonally and have my website open for new collections or something like that. So I just wanted to kind of share with you guys and just highlight that it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It just has to be the right thing for you and your business. And it may seem like a step back. It didn't seem to me, but it may seem to other people like that is taking a step back, but it just made sense to me. It made sense on where I am with my business at the moment and how I'm trying to survive this period. And I don't feel bad at all about it. I don't feel sad. I feel like it's just a business decision and that's what I had to make. And I think this also applies to social media, right? I feel like most small business owners nowadays are finding it really hard to get exposure, to get new followers on social media. And I kind of want to challenge you guys to see that for what it really is. Like, what are you getting from that metric? What are you getting from the views on your reel or the amount of followers you have? Because if that is not translating into income for you, then I don't think that's something you should be spending a lot of time on. Because I have 30,000 followers on Instagram. That was not translating into sales. So for me to invest so much time in creating new reels to get new followers, if the sales are not following these things, then that's not the correct thing to spend your time on, in my opinion. For me, I had to really think about why I was trying to post a reel, why I was trying to get more followers, because they might be my customers, but they weren't buying anything. The people who were buying were the people at the markets who were seeing my things, physically being able to touch them and then purchasing them. So yeah, what do you guys think about that? What is your view about trying so hard to push social media, and what do you actually get back from it? I see a lot of people thinking that they're not successful in their business because they don't have a large following. But I think you definitely can do that without having a following. If you find your correct places to sell your products, you can definitely be successful without having a huge following. And you know, going through all this stuff, it's not easy. Having to always be changing your business plan, changing your ideas of how your business is going to be going, have it each month be a different income. That kind of stuff is really hard, and people don't talk about that a lot. I think another big part of it too is because sales are down, it shouldn't, but it really hits your motivation to want to make more products, to spend that time making stuff. So the past few either collections that I've made, a lot of the stuff hasn't sold yet. And, you know, for me to have spent all that time doing all these things and coming up with these ideas, it's definitely demotivating. So there's also a lot of like burnout that comes with struggling economically to sell your stuff. It really takes your motivation out, which it shouldn't. You know, you should create just because you want to create. But that's the truth. The truth is it does affect you. No one wants to be making stuff with the purpose of selling it and then not selling it and just piling up there. This year especially, I've gone through a lot of burnout of being super motivated and wanting to do things and then not having that feedback that I have had the past 4 years. It really kind of messes with your head as a business owner, as a creator, as an artist of are people just not liking my stuff? Do people not appreciate my art anymore? Or is it really just the economy? Or is it just, in my case, is polymer clay just a trend and people just don't like it anymore? Is that what's happening? It really messes with you. So I have been going through a lot more burnout this year than I have ever before, even though I'm not creating as much. So it's been kind of a weird time this year in my life and in my business life, because I'm kind of just seeing what sticks and seeing what works, but also not feeling super motivated to do anything because I don't want to waste my time and do something that's not gonna yield any results. It really is a really hard time right now. If you've got any small business owners that are your friends or family, check in on them. They're probably having a hard time. And as much as people want to support us, there's just nothing we can do right now. So I hope that if you guys are on the same boat, if you can relate, that you think about opening your mind and being more flexible about pivoting your business in different times and seeing what needs to be done and kind of like detaching yourself from the image that you think it should look like. I think for me, social media has always been really linked to my business and how I feel about it. And the past few months, I've been really taking a step back and seeing where my energy is going and why I'm doing that. I've actually enjoyed doing YouTube a lot more than I have been enjoying doing like Instagram or TikTok or something like that. And yeah, plans for the future, I don't really have any right now. I am seeing how everything is gonna go. I'm playing it by ear. I've been doing as many markets as I physically can. You can see my calendar there. I'm booked up for most weekends every month. So that's where the money is coming from right now. So that's where I have to go. And a few things have become less important in this season of my business. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. So if you guys have been wondering, that's kind of why I've been so busy. I've been doing a lot of markets and I've been crazy busy with that. And the decision to close my website might be final, it might not be final. I'm always open to revisiting it again. We'll kind of have to see how it goes. We'll see how the end of this year plays out and we'll have to go from there. We have to go with the flow and see where the economy is going to lead us. If you guys have any comments, any thoughts, I would love to know what you think about my decision, what you think about small businesses in general having to go through this really difficult time. And also I would love to know, what are you guys doing to kind of pivot your business at the moment, and have you got any brilliant ideas that maybe other people might benefit from hearing or thinking about? I would love to know that. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and let me know in the comments what you think about today's video and about the format. I would love to know what you guys think. And until the next time, see you then. Bye.